Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. Miami Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel sat down with the media this Monday and provided fans with a much-anticipated injury update, giving a detailed rundown on several key players as the team prepares for the upcoming season. Injuries have been a storyline all throughout training camp, and fans are eager to know who will be ready for Week 1 versus the Indianapolis Colts. McDaniel, known for his careful approach to both player health and communication with the press, went point by point on everyone currently dealing with an ailment. He emphasized that while some injuries are minor and only precautionary, others are expected to keep players sidelined for an extended period. The session offered clarity and reassurance to Dolphins fans who might have been worried about early season availability, especially with multiple starters facing different physical setbacks. The focus of the update was on understanding timelines, practice participation, and realistic expectations for each athlete as the season opener approaches. Cornerback Ethan Bonner was one of the players highlighted, with McDaniel confirming that he will be out for several weeks due to a hamstring injury, though no specific return date was provided. Hamstring injuries, as many football fans know, can be tricky and require careful management to avoid setbacks or re-injury, which is likely why McDaniel was cautious in his remarks. While Bonner's absence may initially raise concerns among defensive-minded fans, McDaniel framed it as part of the normal ebb and flow of preseason injuries. The Dolphins staff is prioritizing long-term health over rushing players back too soon. This approach not only protects Bonner, but also gives depth players an opportunity to step into a larger role during his absence. Analysts watching the Dolphins closely will likely track Bonner's rehabilitation and evaluate how the defensive schemes adjust to his temporary absence, especially given the importance of the secondary in today's high-powered NFL offenses. Meanwhile, optimism surrounded starting right tackle Austin Jackson, who McDaniel said is expected to be ready for Week 1 against the Colts. Jackson has been limited in practice after being stepped on during a drill, a common but painful injury in football that can temporarily slow mobility. Despite missing some practice time, McDaniel expressed confidence that Jackson's recovery is on track, and he should return fully healthy in time for the season opener. Jackson's presence is crucial to maintaining offensive line stability, particularly as the Dolphins prepare to protect their quarterback and establish a consistent running game. Fans can breathe easier knowing that the team's coaching staff is closely monitoring his progress and not taking any unnecessary risks. Jackson's potential return will likely be a focal point in early season discussions, with analysts predicting the impact on both pass protection schemes and rushing success. Defensive tackle Zach Sieler also received attention during the press session, with McDaniel noting that Sieler is dealing with a minor injury but is expected to return to practice this week. Sieler's ability to participate fully in training sessions will be vital for the Dolphins' defensive line rotation, as he brings experience, strength, and versatility to the front. While the injury is minor, McDaniel's cautious approach ensures that the team doesn't exacerbate the situation before the season begins. Sieler's return will allow the coaching staff to finalize defensive rotations and better assess depth on the line. Fans and commentators alike will likely keep a close eye on his practice performance to gauge whether he can contribute at full strength early in the season, offering both reassurance and excitement about the defensive front's capabilities in the coming weeks. Running back Devon Achane was another key player addressed in the injury update, with McDaniel confirming that he is dealing with a calf injury and will not participate in practice this week. The Dolphins are exercising caution to ensure Achane is ready for Week 1. And McDaniel stressed that this is not an ongoing problem, emphasizing that the team's approach is preventative rather than reactive. Achane's explosiveness and agility make him a critical component of Miami's backfield, so maintaining his health during the final days of preseason is essential. Fans should take comfort in the fact that the coaching staff is prioritizing player wellness while still expecting him to contribute at full capacity once the season starts. By taking these measured steps, the Dolphins are aiming to prevent any lingering issues and keep Achane fresh for the regular season's opening games, ensuring that the team's offensive potential is not compromised. The discussion also turned to tight end Darren Waller, who McDaniel indicated will return to practice soon, although he did not provide an exact date. Waller's agent, Drew Rosenhaus, reassured fans that despite Waller still being on the PUP list for Week 1, there is no cause for concern, and he will be ready to play once cleared. McDaniel echoed this sentiment, explaining that while he hopes to see Waller back on the field this week, the team will not rush him prematurely. Waller's return is highly anticipated, as his experience and pass-catching ability provide a significant advantage for the Dolphins' offense. Analysts will likely discuss how Waller's reintegration could impact game planning, route designs, and red zone efficiency. His presence alone can alter defensive schemes, giving Miami a versatile weapon to exploit mismatches against opponents and adding depth to an already talented roster. McDaniel also clarified some recent speculation regarding linebacker Matthew Judon, emphasizing that his visit with the Dolphins should not be interpreted as a sign that current players like Chop Robinson, Jalen Phillips, or Bradley Chubb are injured. Instead, Judon's visit is exploratory, aimed at finding a mutually beneficial agreement if both parties decide to move forward. This clarification helped dispel rumors and provided context for fans who might have been concerned about the state of the linebacker core. Judon's experience and proven pass-rushing ability make him an intriguing addition, but McDaniel was careful to frame it as a standard evaluation process rather than a reactionary measure to injuries. Understanding the distinction between injury-related moves and roster strategy is key for fans trying to make sense of preseason activities and personnel decisions in Miami. For context, Matthew Judon is a 33-year-old veteran and former fifth-round pick of the Baltimore Ravens in 2016. He has since played for the Ravens, Patriots, and Falcons, showcasing a productive career with consistent sack production and starting experience. Last season with Atlanta, Judon played in 17 games, starting 15, and recorded 5.5 sacks along with 1 interception. Over his career, Judon has accumulated 72 sacks across 131 games, demonstrating both durability and effectiveness as a pass rusher. His history suggests he could be a valuable contributor if Miami decides to finalize a deal, providing veteran leadership and situational awareness. Fans and analysts alike will be eager to see how his potential arrival could bolster the Dolphins' defensive front and impact their ability to generate pressure on opposing quarterbacks. Multiple reports indicate that both Judon and the Dolphins are motivated to complete a deal, though no formal agreement has been announced yet. The team appears to be methodically exploring all avenues to strengthen the roster while maintaining flexibility for player health and performance. McDaniel's transparent communication helps manage expectations, allowing fans to understand that potential acquisitions are part of broader strategic planning rather than panic responses to injuries. If finalized, Judon's signing could complement the existing linebacker group, providing depth, experience, and versatility. Fans can anticipate an intriguing off-season development as the team balances health, skill sets, and roster needs. Miami's careful, measured approach to both injuries and acquisitions demonstrates a commitment to long-term success rather than short-term fixes, a philosophy that resonates throughout McDaniel's tenure. The injury updates provided by McDaniel reflect a comprehensive view of the Dolphins' roster health heading into Week 1. From cornerbacks to tight ends, running backs to defensive linemen, the coaching staff is actively monitoring progress, emphasizing cautious rehabilitation and preparing to integrate returning players seamlessly. Fans can draw confidence from the transparent approach and the clear timelines offered for key players like Jackson, Sealer, Achane, and Waller. The Dolphins' strategy focuses on ensuring players are not rushed back prematurely, protecting long-term performance and avoiding setbacks that could impact the regular season. Observers will be analyzing practice participation reports closely in the coming days to gauge readiness and predict early season contributions. By carefully balancing health, depth, and strategy, the Dolphins are positioning themselves to start the season strong while maintaining flexibility for unforeseen developments or injuries that may arise. Ultimately, Miami Dolphins fans are left with a mixture of cautious optimism and excitement following McDaniel's injury briefing. Key players are expected to return to practice imminently, while others will be sidelined briefly but without long-term concern. The focus on preventive care, measured timelines, and transparent communication reflects a coaching philosophy designed to maximize both immediate performance and sustainable success. As Week 1 against the Colts approaches, The team's roster health will be closely monitored, and fan anticipation will continue to build, particularly around the potential contributions of players like Achane, Waller, and Jackson. Meanwhile, the Juden visit adds an additional layer of intrigue to the roster landscape. McDaniel's updates not only provide clarity but also serve as a reassurance that the Dolphins are taking a proactive approach to player management, giving fans reason to be confident heading into the season's first game. Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? It's finally over. Tua Tagovailoa is no longer the quarterback of the Miami Dolphins, and the whispers around the league are already turning into full-blown speculation. Sources close to the team hint that the decision wasn't just about performance. Although that certainly played a role, it seems there were deeper disagreements behind the scenes, tension that had been brewing since last season. Fans have been split for months, debating whether Tua had the right tools, the right protection, and the right mindset to lead Miami to the playoffs. Now, with the announcement that he's officially off the roster or potentially traded, the ripple effect is already being felt across the NFL. Coaches, players, and analysts are all weighing in, and the market for quarterbacks could be about to experience one of its most surprising shifts in recent years. Rumors are already swirling about where Tua could land next, and every rumor seems to carry its own flavor of intrigue. Some insiders are suggesting that a trade to a contender could finally allow him to thrive, while others believe that he might end up in a situation that tests him even more than Miami did. The Dolphins, for their part, are reportedly exploring multiple avenues to replace him, from seasoned veterans to rising stars in the draft. Meanwhile, fans are not holding back, flooding social media with reactions that range from shock to excitement, as though the entire league collectively paused to digest the news. Analysts are dissecting every throw, every stat, and every game from his tenure in Miami, trying to figure out what went wrong and what might go right elsewhere. What's fascinating is how quickly the narrative shifted. Just months ago, Tua was celebrated as the franchise savior, the young quarterback poised to lead Miami into a new era of dominance. Highlight reels, social media hype, and expert panels all seemed to agree. He was the guy. Yet, in the quiet corridors of team management, questions had been mounting. Injuries, inconsistent play, and reportedly strained locker room dynamics contributed to a decision that, for some, seems sudden but for others feels inevitable. The Dolphins' front office, according to insiders, felt a sense of urgency, an understanding that the team's future might require a bold, even risky, shake-up at the most important position on the field. Of course, the timing adds to the drama. The NFL offseason is a period of whispers and trades, but dropping a quarterback like Tua now sends shockwaves that ripple across the league's strategy tables. Other teams are already calculating possibilities, imagining how their rosters could shift with him in the mix. Meanwhile, Miami fans are left to speculate about who will step into the spotlight, who will carry the weight of expectations, and whether the decision to part ways with Tua will ultimately prove genius or catastrophic. Social media polls, sports talk radio, and even casual fans at bars are debating endlessly, feeding the rumor mill with theories that range from plausible to outrageous. Adding fuel to the fire, some reports suggest that Tua himself was surprised by the decision. Sources claim that while he knew his future was uncertain, the abrupt nature of the announcement left him scrambling to consider options, legal and personal. The quarterback market is already volatile, and Tua's availability might just be the catalyst for one of the most talked-about trades of the season. Coaches across the league are said to be reviewing game tape obsessively, trying to imagine how Tua's particular style could fit into their offensive schemes. Meanwhile, betting markets are reacting, and fan forums are exploding with debate, analysis, and speculation that could dominate headlines for weeks to come. It's worth noting that Miami isn't acting impulsively. Team insiders are reportedly making careful, calculated moves, scouting both veteran quarterbacks and promising rookies. The Dolphins' management seems intent on balancing immediate performance with long-term potential, aware that a wrong move at quarterback can define seasons, even decades. Analysts are speculating about which quarterbacks could realistically fit, from experienced veterans seeking a fresh start to younger players with upside who are hungry to prove themselves. Amid all the buzz, the general sentiment is that Miami is gambling, but But in a league where calculated risk often separates contenders from pretenders, that gamble could pay off big or backfire spectacularly. Meanwhile, Tua's reputation is suddenly under intense scrutiny. Once viewed as a golden boy with elite potential, the optics of this decision cast a shadow over his accomplishments. Every interception, every missed read, and every injury is being replayed, analyzed, and debated. Some argue he never had the right supporting cast, pointing to offensive line weaknesses and limited weapons, while others say his inconsistency was the final straw. The rumor mill is relentless. Speculation about which teams have quietly reached out to Tua's camp is relentless, painting a picture of a quarterback in transition, a player with something to prove, and a league poised to watch how the next chapter unfolds. It's also impossible to ignore the human element. Tua's departure shakes not just the Dolphins organization, but also his personal narrative. How he responds, how he adjusts to a new locker room, and how he handles the pressure will be scrutinized heavily. Media outlets are already preparing feature pieces, while commentators and pundits debate whether this move signals a changing philosophy for Miami or a broader trend across the NFL of impatience with young quarterbacks. Every decision he makes next, be it training, public statements, or private workouts, will be dissected, and each will contribute to a rapidly evolving story that has fans, analysts, and insiders talking nonstop. For the Dolphins, this marks a pivotal moment. History suggests that franchises that shake up their quarterback position dramatically either soar or stumble spectacularly. The pressure is immense, the spotlight unforgiving. Behind closed doors, team meetings are reportedly tense, with coaches, general managers, and staff planning strategy after strategy to fill the void left by Tua. Rumors suggest that free agents are being approached cautiously, draft boards are being revised rapidly, and contingency plans are being drafted in real time. The NFL landscape is watching closely, knowing that Miami's next steps could reverberate across the league, affecting trades, drafts, and playoff forecasts. Ultimately, the story is far from over. Tua Tagovailoa's exit is not just a transaction. It's a narrative catalyst, sparking endless discussion about talent evaluation, team culture, and the ruthless nature of professional football. Fans are holding their breath. Analysts are sharpening their opinions, and social media is aflame with speculation. The intrigue lies not only in where Tua ends up, but also in how the Dolphins respond, how their new quarterback adapts, and how the domino effect reshapes the league's balance of power. Every rumor, every insider tip, and every late-night debate adds layers to a story that promises to dominate sports conversation for months to come. No matter the outcome, one thing is clear. The Dolphins' quarterback situation has become a lightning rod for rumor, gossip, and heated debate. The consequences of this decision will unfold slowly, game by game, and every throw, interception, and touchdown will be re-examined in the context of this dramatic shakeup. Fans, analysts, and fellow players alike are waiting for the first signs of Tua's next move, knowing that the ripple effects of this moment will impact not only Miami's fortunes, but also the careers and strategies of dozens of teams across the NFL. The buzz is just beginning, and the story is far from finished. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.